Hi, my name's Haley. This is my knitting channel and it's that time of year again. We are going to talk about fall plans and I'm going to be overly ambitious as always because I have to. I have my friend Beyonce joining me. She's a cutie. She's the cutie. But anyway, hop straight into it with probably a scandalous uncommon opinion, but I must complete a twist loop sweater. Twist loop, maybe singular sweater by Other Loops. And I have decided that if swatching goes well, which I haven't started yet, I will be making this sweater out of Bernat Bundle Up, which is 100% polyester baby blanket yarn. And my thought process behind this is I want at least one sweater in my collection that I know for sure will be comfy, cozy through and through in a couple different aspects. One, when making it, so if I swatch this and it's hard on my hands, then abort mission, but I've used it before for other stuff and I don't think it's going to be that bad. So I want it to be enjoyable to make. I've started a twist loop sweater before and I got almost completely through the entire body. It's a top down raglan, and for my size the body is like 400, or the yoke part is like 400 something stitches. It's a lot of work. 4mm needles. I think it's written on 4.5, but I had to go down to 4 to hit gauge. This yarn is gauged for 5.5, so I'm hoping that I don't have to go down, but we shall see. But yes, it's a lot of work. It doesn't have cables everywhere, but the cables are kind of intricate and it's just a lot going on. And I've started it before, I've gotten deep into it, I know how much work it is, and I want it to be enjoyable, which was the mistake I made last time. I did not enjoy knitting with that yarn. And then I also want it to be enjoyable to wear. So this is baby blanket yarn. It's so soft. It's like micro fluffy. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's not halo fluffy, but it's fluffy and soft. And I know for a fact that I won't have any problems with this next to skin. Polyester is super warm, if not hot. So it'll be a great late fall, winter type piece to layer, or even mid-fall to potentially wear alone. And it is completely washable, like no fear. I can throw it in the washer, I can wear it as much as I want, I can do whatever I want in it, and I'm going to have that mental peace of mind that like all my hard work is not getting destroyed. So yeah, that is main goal. Goal number 1.5, because goal number 1 is going to be the Vincent sweater Junior by Kolibri, and I was accepted to be a part of this test knit, so I'm so excited. I'm making it in the size 1 to 2 years for my daughter, and it's a cute little, like, very innocent, dainty raglan style stockinette, but it has these ruffles around the cuffs and the bottom hem, which is just so adorable. I've never done ruffles before, so I'm very interested to see how that works up and what all goes into it. And she did this out of 3 strands of lace, essentially. She did 2 strands Lang mohair. I don't remember what they call their mohair, but 2 strands of Lang mohair and 1 strand of Ito, like a glitter yarn that they have, which I think was called Kinjin or something, but 3 strands of lace on 5mm needles. I cannot stand mohair next to skin, especially around my neck. So I'll be making hers, my daughter's, out of 2 strands of drops brushed alpaca and off-white. For whatever reason, that is just much more comfortable, and she can't talk, so I want her to, you know, not be itchy, hopefully. And then 1 strand of something called Anchor Metallic Fine. It was just under the metallic yarn section of Wool Warehouse. So yeah, never heard of it before. It's very similar in weight to the Ito, so I'm hoping it's gonna be fine. But I'm thinking the white, off-white fluff with like a little bit of the gold shimmering through is going to be so gorgeous. But brushed alpaca is a little more dense, a little less sheer than mohair, so I also don't know if the glitter is going to come through as strong as it would had I done a mohair. But none of these yarns have come in, so, you know, we'll see. I'm still currently in the dark, but my heart is telling me it's going to work out, and that should definitely get accomplished. 1, because it's a test knit, so I have a deadline, and 2, it's a tiny little baby size, and from the 2 baby raglans I've already made, toddler raglans I've already made, it only takes me about a week, maybe 10 days, so I'm not too concerned. But also the yarn isn't here yet, so that's concerning. Moving on, the sweater that I wanted to make for my mom by Olga Pitano is finally out. It's called the STALK sweater. It's my first saddle shoulder. I've actually already cast this on, and it's a lot going on. So it's ribbed all around, and then there's these little touches of cables. Sorry, there's tails everywhere. Little touch of cables, and then it just goes straight in the rib, and then all the hems are cabled as well. So the cuff around the wrist and the hem along the bottom have cute little cables, pretty much matching. And I'm doing this out of the Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino in Hazel. And I can't even lie to you, I don't like it. Do not like this stuff. It's 125 meters for 50 grams, so it's pretty heavy DK. And I'm pretty sure it's a little heavier than what the pattern calls for, but this is the yarn that my mom wanted. I want to say it's superwash. I know most Knitting for Olive is superwash, so I want to say that this is superwash as well. But it's like, the ply is very interesting. Can you see? It's not very stuck together. I don't know how to describe that. It's very, come back. It's very splitty. So it does require more attention than I would like, as far as like looking at what I'm doing. So that's not my favorite. And it just I feel like I'm knitting straight off an animal. And this is probably nowhere near as rustic as it comes, but for me, you couldn't tell me the sheep wasn't right there in my living room, and I'm just knitting straight off its back. She's promised me through and through that she is not sensitive, and she's felt it in the ball. She's felt this, and she doesn't find it itchy or bothersome at all. Me, I put it right here, and I'm being stabbed. I'm being assaulted. I didn't swatch. I went straight into it, so I don't know what this is like after blocking because I didn't have a swatch to block and see. But like I said, I do think it is superwash, so I'm hoping it'll like transform through blocking and be a lot softer, but also it's not for me. So if she likes it, I love it. I'm just glad that it's going to be appreciated. Like I said, this is my first saddle shoulder, so you make these like strips, pick up, cast on, pick up, and then this is the back that I'm working on right now. This took so much focus. I mean, I had to study the pattern before I even began. I had to read it a couple times because it is in English. The pattern is in English, but it just wasn't the way I would word things, or the way that I've seen things worded in patterns before, and I'm a little easily confused sometimes. So it would say stuff like, okay, knit this many, purl this many, and then German turn on the next stitch. But for me, I'm like, okay, well, that next stitch, do I knit it? Do I purl it? And when I do that, her short rows didn't line up the way I'm used to. Like, for whatever reason, in all the patterns I've done, if I purl a stitch, then the short row on the other side is gonna be a purl, so that when I slip it and I pull the yarn over to make the double stitch, whatever side I pull the yarn to, I then have to pull it back over, and it's kind of like wrapped around. And then, okay, does this make sense? So if I slipped a stitch purl wise and I pulled the yarn to the back to make the double stitch, then I would have to pull that tight, pull the yarn back to the front to purl the next stitch, or vice versa. It's always been, my next stitch has always been opposite of the direction that I had to pull the yarn for the double stitch, whereas this pattern, if I pulled the yarn to the back, my next stitch would be a knit stitch, and I just felt like my double stitches weren't as tight as they normally are, and they just looked a little bit different when resolving them. So I really don't know if I was doing it right. I could have been doing it wrong, but luckily all the short rows are very hidden. I mean, I can't, if I did it wrong, you can't tell, so who cares. And then some of the decreases in the pattern didn't make sense. Like there was slip slip knit, but if I knit it, then it would put a purl stitch in a knit column on the right side of the work, so I just slip slip purled to keep the design flowing. I don't know if it's because this is brand new or if that really was how it was supposed to be and I just didn't trust it, but I changed it. Other than that, I haven't made any modifications for sizing or anything like that. I'm just going with the flow. But yeah, I've gotten this far and I'm still on my first ball, so barely made a dent, but we'll definitely be done because it's already cast on. So at least 2 of these things are getting accomplished this fall. And then because I have so much going on in this STALK sweater and the twist loop sweater, I really want to do a Monday sweater for myself. I just love one, I love the way Petite Knit writes her designs. It's so simple, so straightforward. You know, I don't have to think too hard. And then two, the neck shaping on that raglan is just unbeatable. So I just want to have kind of a stockinette, easy peasy piece when I need a break from all the chaos of these other ones. And I'm thinking of maybe doing it in a really cute hand-dyed yarn. But I'm trying to be very mindful, like I've talked about in the last podcast. So I know that for my own personal taste, hand-dyed yarn, as gorgeous as it is, when knit into a garment, can look like a craft project. And it is a craft project. But I don't know. I don't like it to look too crafty. I don't want it. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. But it needs to look a little, there needs to be a chance I could have bought it at a store. You know, I want to get away with slipping under the rug and just like, oh, did I buy it? Did I make it? You never know. That's the area I like to live in. For some reason, if I wear something and people are instantly like, oh, did you make that? I'm like, why did you think I made it? Like, does it look bad? Is there something wrong with it? Like, how did you just look at this and know I made it? So I'm thinking my way of getting around this is to do like I did with my son's Monday sweater and buy fingering or sock yarn of whatever color I want and hold it double, because I found that that is just a delicious way to make the hand dye a lot more uniform but still be stunning and have its moment. So that's the plan so far, but it is a little more expensive to do it that way. When I was looking into some colors, it was maybe like $30 to $40 more, depending on the dyer, but $30 to $40 more than if I just bought a DK sweater quantity. But for me, I think that's worth it. And for some people, it was only $15 to $20 more, so I don't know. It's just, sometimes it's just the price you gotta pay. So that's my plan for that one. Just when I need something mindless and I'm feeling overwhelmed by all the cables and ribbon going on and everything else. And then to get into a little more aspirational goals, starting to dream big, I have 4 more sweaters. So I just said 4 and I have 4 more for a total of 8. 8 sweaters in a season. Might pull it off, you never know. The first being Core Shalvin sweater, man. I don't know how to pronounce this. I believe it's Norwegian because the designer is Norwegian. I am planning to make this for my husband. I just love the basket weave. I've wanted a basket weave sweater, and I've seen a lot of basket weave sweaters that just weren't doing it for me. And when I finally came across this one, I was like, yes, that is how I want basket weave to be done. It's 5mm needles, so not chunky, but a little chunk to it. And I love that because my husband's size is a lot bigger than mine, which is going to make it take even longer. But it's a pretty neutral style to where I'll probably wear it sometimes too. Already planning on stealing it, but I'm thinking drops big merino and brushed alpaca in black. Black yarn isn't the most exciting, but it is what I know my husband will wear easily and not have to. I don't want to make him something that takes too much thought as far as how to style it. So black it's gonna be. And then the drops big merino, I have had some in the past. I got some to swatch the anthracite color for a different sweater I was thinking about making it, and it's just not the softest. I never blocked it though, so I don't know how it feels after, because it's definitely superwash, and I've had some superwash yarns truly transform feel wise after blocking. But I'm hoping that the big merino is prominent enough that it's not all fluff, if that makes sense. We'll see. I haven't even purchased that yarn, so I'm kind of nowhere near casting this on, but in my head that's gonna work. And it's such a timeless design. It's timeless, it's easy, the oversize looks very cozy, so I'm excited about that. And then the construction is a drop shoulder, I think, which I have never done before, and it's not in anything else so far that I've said, so if I do cast that on, that'll be my first drop shoulder, so that kind of keeps me enticed to get through it because I'll be learning. And then these last three are just severely ambitious. I really want a structure loop sweater by Other Loops. I've mentioned this before in past podcasts. That is what my son's Monday sweater was supposed to eventually turn into, but that yarn got repurposed, and I'm thinking solids. I went through Ravelry and I was looking at everybody's projects, and I've noticed that I'm gravitating more towards low contrast between the two colors. So instead of like black and white, like black with white stripes, white with black stripes, or I think one of the samples that Other Loop has is like a beige with a navy. I like kind of closer, like maybe a beige with a cream, or a medium gray with a light gray, or a cream with a very, very pastel color. And I'm also debating whether or not I want to do a fuzzy fluff. I think the way that the stripes are done, it might look nicer to not have any fluff and just have like a really plump yarn with good stitch definition, so you can really appreciate the structure loops. But she's done plenty of samples with fluffs in hers, and I think the pattern is written with a mohair suggestion, and it didn't ruin it, so I think it's just really going to be all in the color choice. If I go for that low contrast that I'm thinking of, then I will definitely have to probably leave out the fluff so it doesn't get too hazy. But if the colors have a tad bit more contrast, then maybe. Also, the colors that I have in the back of my mind, I couldn't find like the perfect fluff pairing, which is why I might just, which is pushing me closer to just leaving it out. But I'm kind of thinking this like very pale gray blue, like if you took a cream and you just added 1 drop of gray blue to a gallon of cream, that as the base, and then a really icy chilly white blue for the stripes. And we'll just see where it takes us. I want it so bad. I want it so bad, but I'm really trying to work through the projects that I already have the yarn here in the house for before I just go on a shopping spree, because I know seeing all the yarn for everything in a big pile is just, it's gonna make me too overwhelmed, and I'm gonna be a lot less productive. But those are the colors I'm thinking, and I may stick with it, I may pivot, because I also am loving the idea of a beige cream combo. And then I really want a Jenny jacket v-neck by Petite Knit. I wanted a Jenny sweater and a Jenny jacket, but I was leaning, I really wanted a Jenny jacket, but I was leaning more towards the sweater because the jacket and the sweater have similar necklines. This is one of the first things I ever swatched. I learned how to knit because I saw the Jenny jacket and wanted it. But the buttonholes and knitting flat, all of that stuff was just a little too intimidating at the time, and it just sat in the back of my mind just on hold. It was also, the Jenny jacket is also bottom up, which was just too much to take in, as someone who is literally still YouTubing how to knit. So I tabled it, and then I was like, okay, maybe I'll try the Jenny sweater because I don't have to knit flat, at least, like too much, but it was also still bottom up, if I remember correctly. And then this year she came out with the Jenny jacket v-neck, and it is stunning. It's incredible, and it's also top down, which is just so enticing. And for me personally, the v-neck would flow into my wardrobe a lot better than the crew neck cardigan, and maybe one day I will just be that classy girl that wears crew neck cardigans. But for today, I think that Petite Knit made the Jenny sweater v-neck, or Jenny jacket v-neck, just for me. She heard my woes and she said, Haley, I'll fix them for you. And I will have this sweater in my closet by 2024. I'm not even gonna set unrealistic expectations on myself. 2024, I will have this sweater. I'm thinking a baby pink. I'm thinking maybe the I think I have it. So my rough plan is this Cascade Heritage in 5.756, which is like this baby pink, but it's a cool tone pink. I don't know if you can tell that it has a twinge of purpley blue. And this is so soft, and it's definitely super wash because it's sock yarn, 75/25. So I'm thinking it can only get softer. Could be wrong, we'll see. Never used it before, but I already have 4 skeins. So I'm thinking this held double, maybe just get 2 more skeins, and it's just the fluff or no fluff that I haven't really put too much thought into because this project is honestly so far away. But I think the ribbing and the smock stitch would look, what do you call it, like almost a little too intense without the fluff. I think the fluff would kind of calm it down a little bit, and if I don't do it with fluff, it might be a little too stark for what I want to see. So again, don't have true plans, but that's my rough plan, and I think if I pull it off, it'll be so gorgeous. It'll just be gorgeous. And then finally, I want a storm sweater. I know, by Petite Knit. She's made it on here, what, 3 times actually. Isn't that bad. That's not that bad at all. But I liked the Ingrid sweater. I didn't like the thought of knitting an Ingrid sweater. So when she came out with the storm sweater, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's all knits and purls. I don't think there's any cabling in it. Or maybe if there is cabling, it's like 1 stitch cabling. But it's kind of the same vibes without the same amount of labor. And I have so many different thoughts on what I want my storm sweater to look like, and I just can't decide on one. I have this Heritage Same Stuff sock in this gray, the 5755 gray, and it's kind of similar to the gray one she's always posting in, a similar-ish color. I have 5 skeins of that, so almost a sweater quantity, maybe enough for my size. I would probably get one more just to be safe, but gray is kind of blah. I think I might save the gray, make something for my husband out of it, because I'm almost thinking, I don't even know what I'm thinking. I just know that I want one, and when we get a little closer, I will see. Originally, I wanted one in like an icy blue color, and I still kind of do, but I don't know if I want 2 ice blue sweaters, so I kind of got to see what I end up doing for the structure loop sweater, because the cream with the blue stripes, I was also thinking maybe blue with the cream stripes. So if I did that version, then I wouldn't want another ice blue sweater. But if I do the cream with the blue, then I might be okay with a blue storm sweater. But also, purple is my favorite color, and I have not made myself a single purple garment or planned a single purple garment. So I'm thinking maybe this is that piece, and you know, we're just gonna take it from there and see how far I get. That is my fall plans for 2023, and I'm really excited to come back and see how much I accomplish before winter. I'm feeling confident that I can at least knock out, I really want to knock out 4 of these 8. I feel like that's a very realistic goal, considering one is a kid sweater and one of the adult ones I've already started. But we'll see, because that twist loop sweater was taking me time. So you know, A+ is going to be 4, regular A is going to be 3, and yeah, let's see what I'm going to get done. I'll check back in with y'all in like a couple weeks, probably with another podcast, and you know, I will have so much progress. I'm claiming it as mine. I will have so much progress. I will have at least the Vincent sweater junior most likely done, because the deadline is fast approaching. And yeah, I just, you know, can't wait. Like, subscribe if you feel like it. I would greatly appreciate it. And bye-bye.